other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready because geekiness begins in
3,
2,
1.
You are listening to the Starling Tribune, a podcast dedicated to the Arrow TV show.
I am the Green Arrow.
This podcast is not produced or maintained by the CW, Warner Brothers Television, CTV, or DC Comics. All characters, situations, and stories are the properties of Time Warner. I am the Oracle, and this is your Tribune.
Welcome back to Earth 2's favorite newspaper. We call it the Starling Tribune. I am the chief editor today. My name is SP, and your other award-winning reporters for this episode number 207 of the Starling Tribune are Chris.
Looks like a hemorrhoid.
I miss Mick. And Michelle.
Shakens for lightweights who like their booze watered down.
All righty. This podcast is recorded on Thursday, August 23rd, 2018. And we are streaming live via www.geeks.live. Come on down if you're available on Thursdays, and we would love to chat with you as we stream live.
We sure would, and this evening we'll be discussing Legends of Tomorrow, as well as news, interviews, articles, and announcements that have dropped in the last weeks that could impact future episodes of Legends, as well as The Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, Vixen, Constantine, and whatever other shows they decide to throw out there.
If you're new to the show, thank you for searching us out on the internet and joining us. After the show, you can check out our content at GonnaGeek.com, where you can also find other geeky videos, podcasts, and articles.
Thanks, guys. Michelle, I think it's time just to start in on this right away and break down the current episode.
This episode is called The Curse of the Earth Totem. It's Season 3, Episode 12. It originally aired Monday, February 26, 2018. It's directed by Chris Tomorrow, who was a camera operator on 31 episodes of Legends, and this is the episode Chris has directed. It was written by Graham Godfrey, who's done 11 Legends, 6 Flash, 1 Arrow, and others, and Ubay Muhammad, whose credits include 1 Arrow and 2 Legends.
This aired way back in February, March of 2018, the week of that, and we run down the ratings for the week of all the DC CW TV shows. We're going to start off on Monday, the 26th of February. This episode of Legends of Tomorrow, Season 3, Episode 12, The Curse of the Totem, had a total ranking of 2.28, which actually is pretty good. And this is the live plus 7-day DVR numbers. On Tuesday, the 27th of February, Flash aired their 14th episode of the 4th season, titled Subject 9, to a total rating of 3.98 million. Once again, this is live plus 7-day DVR ratings. Following Flash, Black Lightning aired the 6th episode of the 1st season, titled 3 Sevens, The Book of Thunder, to a live plus DVR rating of 2.80. And our flagship show, Arrow, with the 14th episode of the 6th season, aired the episode Collision Course to a total rating of 2.13. Once again, it's live plus 7-day DVR, and Arrow is bringing up the rear this week.
Still
Like
over
all
a 2.
weeks.
What's that, Chris?
It's still over a 2 at least.
It is. Michelle, what do you think of that?
It's just, Arrow must get a lot of app views and a lot of Netflix views to get renewed or something. That is just, wow.
It is, and I can't, I have to scratch my head on a bunch of things. And it could just be simple as they knew they had Stephen Amell for 7 seasons. They knew that the long-term payoff was going to be there. I don't know. But for only 2.13 or live plus 7-day for Arrow, I don't know. Now, don't forget that they do have the free CW app that anybody could watch. And I don't think those numbers are reflected in that. I think that is the old Nielsen live plus 7-day DVR ratings that we've come to know and love over the past decade, and does not include streaming. So we'll see how that turns out next year. Of course, we all have our theories. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about this wonderful episode of Legends of Tomorrow. It's now pretty much all the favorites, the three of us, it's the favorite show out of the 4. And Michelle, what was the overall theme of this episode?
Well, this episode, they're out to find the Earth Totem because they need all the totems to defeat the bad guy. And the bulk of the episode takes place in the Bahamas 1717. And we could go through a lot of things, but I just want to skip to the fact that Mick Rory is the best first mate ever. Him and Amaya were just amazing. He is just like, take the day off. Pirates only focus on the problem ahead of them, and creates this legend of the dread pirate J-Way, you know? I mean, Chris, I know Mick is like your favorite. What did you think of him in this episode?
This was good. Mick's showing emotion. He knows that Amaya needs a win. Well, here's how he can help her by building her up to be a badass pirate. And she gets to be pretty badass. Even without the powers of the totem, she's still pretty cool and badass. So kudos to Mick for playing a great wingman when it comes to building someone up.
I just like the fact that we get this episode about a month early now for us. We're recording this on August 23rd. On Wednesday, September 19th, 2018, it is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. So I'm just getting warmed up here. This is going to be a good year now that I'm fully cognizant of it. But yeah, Mick is embracing the thief, embracing the pirate in him, and he gets the dread pirate G-Way to embrace it as well. And I think she really needed to cut loose a little bit. She's worrying too much about her future, her past, what's supposed to happen, what destiny is, that sort of thing. And yes, all of that is important, but she needs to de-stress and have some fun. You know, smell the flowers along the way.
We learned that Blackbeard actually finds the Earth Totem and gives it to his love, Annie, and ends up, well, turning her into, well, this earth creature, bringing out the worst in her. And like any good boyfriend, he shoots her.
Yeah, I mean, he put her out of her misery, I guess, or it's just because he's a coward and doesn't want to have to deal with any of it. Your takes are welcome.
It's kind of open for interpretation. I mean, at that point, it definitely seems like he's being a coward, but, you know, he's seen this terrible monster, and in order for it not to propagate further in the Caribbean, maybe that's why he did that to her, but he did it quite quickly, even if she was the love of his life, the queen.
Yeah,
Well,
we learned
that queen. I mean, I get the feeling that Blackbeard is kind of fickle when it comes to who is his queen and for how long.
one of the things I liked about this episode is it took this big myth, Blackbeard and fearsome and everything, and when like Damien Dark comes up as the admiral and he's like, you know, show me where your treasure is, and they're like, oh, he would never tell, and Blackbeard's like, here, let me draw you a map.
It might not be to scale, but it's going to be as close as I can get it. And he did draw a pretty good map. We see it later, and we didn't see him actually draw it, so we don't know if he actually drew it. But yeah, the representation was pretty cool later. Yeah. He did capitulate really quickly, and he did roll over very fast, quite a lot. So could this be a case of the myth larger than the reality?
Oh, most definitely. I think that's what makes it so entertaining, though.
Yeah, we get Damien, of course, as the admiral, and I like how Gideon notices that he's there because he gets a portrait.
It's quite a dashing portrait, too.
Gideon's just pissed. She's like, I told you I didn't want to go there. Everything's breaking. I just didn't want to go there. And yeah, she doesn't go back once they get her out. They use the time watch portal things to go back and forth. Well, Gideon's got a point, I guess, maybe, or maybe she's just making a mountain out of a molehill. I don't know.
Oh, Gideon's got a point. First off, this is Nate's idea. Sarah is taking a personal day, and she's been alive, dead, cursed, different portal region. The woman deserved a night off, and she was going out on a date with Ava. It's their first date. And Nate gets the idea that, hey, I know where the Earth Totem is. We should go meet Blackbeard and its pirates, and woohoo. And Gideon's like, this is the moment where we should ask Captain Lance what to do. And they're just like, no, let her do. Mom needs a break. We kids, we know what we're doing. We have our own key to the house now. We could do this. And I just love how Gideon calls Sarah and is like, hi, it's Gideon. I want to let you know that the kids took the Wave Rider to the Bahamas 1717.
I told them
Told
not
him not
to.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little tattletale getting, but she had a point. They were in trouble and they needed a little bailout. So yeah, I mean, you got to bring in the cavalry sometimes.
Yeah, but then, of course, that date doesn't go very well. And then both Sarah and Ava ends up on the Wave Rider. And then with the time thing, because Nate and Ray use the time watch to go help Amaya and Mick. And of course, they leave it on because Nate's a doofus. And Blackbeard and his crew end up on the Wave Rider. And then we get one of the best fight scenes of the season with Ava and Sarah just kicking the crap out of Blackbeard's crew, and Blackbeard going, wait, you're women. What?
With a cane and a flute. They weren't actual real weapons. Did you guys see that? Well, I mean, they probably were when they were sparring, but at the end, when they're crossing Blackbeard's neck with him, it was a flute and a cane.
I did not notice that.
Yeah.
Because they are awesome.
Yes, there was. I agree. It was about the best fight of the series. Definitely the best fight of the season. That's what I was thinking when I was watching it. I'm like, I remember this fight, and because we've watched the whole series before in real time. I remember this fight. This fight is really good. And as I was watching it, it kept on elevating and elevating and elevating. And if you get back to my fight critiques that we do for Arrow all the time, yes, there were quick cuts and whatever, but it was just awesome seeing those two ladies, which are probably the most two dangerous street fighting ladies around, an assassin and a time agent, and they're just taking these pirates to town, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, their date didn't start off really well, but then they sort of confessed to each other that, we're not normal. We don't want to be normal. We shouldn't have to hide that fact. And then, of course, then the fight. And then we learned that Amaya actually gets a rum named after her. It's instead of like Blackbeard's rum, it's G-Way's rum, which is great.
I've been looking for that. Yeah, I've been looking for that in the stores, and I haven't found it yet. So if anybody knows of a limited run of the Captain G-Way rum, I would love to get my hands on some.
Yes, because their date ends in rum floats, kisses, and other things.
You got a room on this ship? Yeah, it's called a cabin.
Well, hey. So it's very difficult to rate her as captain because she deserved the night off. And she has a reasonable expectation to, think, hey, you guys should have known better. I don't fault her for thinking, hey.
No, I mean, it is the Legends.
Yeah.
I mean,
this merry band of misfits never really likes to follow rules.
But you're right. She can't stay on the ship all the time. So, yeah. I mean, there was the wedding. She's had a couple of nights off. It was the wedding. Then there's this. By the way, I mean, if we're going to talk about the wedding, the minister at the crossover wedding was William Catt, who played the Greatest American Hero. Recently had the opportunity to go back and watch all 45 episodes of the Greatest American Hero. In season 3, earlier on in season 3, they get married. Ralph, which is William Catt, and his girlfriend Pam, they actually get married. And guess what? Their wedding had some superhero trouble too. So, I didn't realize there was a correlation, but I guess there was.
Well, Amaya gets the Earth totem. Of course, earlier Damien got her totem. And Nora's there too. And Nora's about to kill Amaya. And Ray uses his nanite gun. which works. But then it starts to kill Nora.
Yeah.
And then he starts to feel guilty.
Ray having a conscience.
Haircut. What are you doing?
He's making a dry erase marker formula.
Right.
The perfect viscosity.
I wanted to talk about this. Is this a good decision on Ray's part or not? And when he was having the conversation with Mick, by the way, I saw his Superman persona come out very strong. If you take a look at that scene again and you watch it as him playing Superman, that is totally Superman, that entire conversation. It is not Ray or the Atom, although it's almost the same character, but it is his persona of Superman. Anyway, so he decides that he's going to say, I don't know if I would have. I mean, he's the Boy Scout and he's actually doing it, but he had to have known that it wouldn't go the way that he thought it would. So I don't, do you guys think this was the right call for Ray?
For him personally, perhaps, because I think he made it pretty clear that he could not live with the thought that he had killed her, because, like he said, he was just with her as a child previously to that, and he went from seeing her as a kid to then being the adult version and then having to kill. And let's be honest, when does Ray ever really kill? I don't know that he has throughout this. So from a personal standpoint, I think he's doing what he feels he needs to. From a strategic standpoint, it's dumb. You just put one of Damien's most powerful pieces back on the board and handed yourself over, because, yeah, do you really think Damien's going to be honest with you?
Yeah, he should have taken backup.
Well, I don't think... I think he's thinking that no one else would quite understand what he's feeling on this, and that no one else would support that decision. Whether that's true or not, it's a different story, but that's what's in his head there.
Yeah, everybody was predisposed, except for Mick, and Mick's not going to agree with him. As a matter of fact, he even almost charged Ray when Ray was talking about Mick changing for the better.
Yeah, but it's Mick. I think he would have supported Haircut, even though when he's dumb. That's what they do.
But Mick's also the ultimate pragmatist, though. I mean, he sees that, hey, you just took out one of the most powerful enemies we have. You've damaged their operation, and now you want to undo it? Say what you want about how Mick's evolved. Her dying would not hurt his conscience one bit.
Yeah, I totally agree. He wouldn't have agreed on saving her. If there was a way to save her and get the necklace back and then not be captured, I think Mick might have been convinced on that, but
and even Ray alone could have done it. If he would have just, give me the actual totem, I will give you the thing. I mean, there could have been a way, instead of him just going right next to her and injecting it. He could have done some sort of handoff thing.
Yeah, maybe. Although he didn't know for sure that it was going to work. I mean, he was positive, but when you're inventing something, you never know if it's going to work the first time or not.
And I don't think he's really thinking logically about it. I think he's ruled by his conscience here and wanting to do what he can to clear it up.
I don't know. I had a tough time with the entire scene. The backup alone, that was the thing that kind of got to me. But then I started thinking what everybody else was doing. So there's that. But yeah, it was a tough decision.
And then, of course, we got to talk about the other dynamic duo of this episode, and that is Rip and Wally, who decide to get drunk, pants Gary, and sing Careless Whispers in 1992 Tokyo karaoke bar.
I want to go party with these guys.
It seemed like a fun night.
I think it'd be a fun night. You get to go time traveling, sing karaoke, play funny pranks on people, and drink jet fuel.
The jet fuel should have killed Rip.
He's an anomaly.
Okay. I remember the first time that I watched this, I thought the entire time that Rip was actually going to drug Wally. And then I thought, well, Wally's a speedster, so whatever drug that Rip's going to give him is just going to dissipate really quick. So that's probably not going to work. But it went through my mind. I remember the first time is that Rip was going to coerce him against his will. And he did coerce him, but it was a mutual understanding at the end.
Well, I think part of what you had there is Rip wants a genuine human connection right now. Things have not been going well for Rip Hunter. The Legends have turned away from him. The Time Bureau he formed has turned away from him. He's responsible for the death of many Time agents. He wants a connection with someone, even if it's something as simple as, hey, let's go sing karaoke and steal my jacket back. And as I try and convince you to come help me save the world, or save time, or save the universe, or whatever we're going with for this one.
I had a sad note in my head as I was watching this episode, because I was watching Wally, and I was just thinking of what had been going on with the character, and they address it in this episode, but you know what happens later, and you're like, oh, this is like the last hurrah sort of thing, and I don't know, it's just not right, and it's I can't explain it. It's just the way I feel about it. I mean, we know the broader picture now, but still, I wish we had Wally around.
Me too.
I'll take Constantine over Wally, though, if I have to make a choice.
Ooh, this coming from a wall. This is your Flash.
This is my Flash that I grew up with, but John Constantine's portrayal on all of these shows is just fun, and it's so different than anything we've had. We've had speedsters all over the place in the DC TV universe. Sorcerers and whatever else John Constantine's powers are, that's relatively unique. I like it. It's a breath of fresh air. He can give you a magic tattoo.
And other things.
And other things.
SP, is there anything else about the episode you want to talk about?
Oh, it was just cool seeing the pirate ships and stuff like that. I have no idea if it was CGI or not, or if it was a real thing. I did notice, though, if you guys didn't, I have no idea if this is true or not, but the beach they went on, Grace Island, didn't it look a lot like the beach on Leon U, just with some CGI background different?
Probably was.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, is they probably made it look like another island, but it was actually the same beach that they used somewhere around Vancouver.
It's a location they'd already scouted, so they knew what they could do with it. So it would not surprise me if they reused the same area they did for Leon U.
So kudos for that. A little Leon U reference in Grace Island.
Chris?
So it was in the back of my head. Every time Blackbeard spoke in this, I was like, I recognize that voice. What do I know that from? So as we started the show, I IMDb'd it, and I found out the actor's name is Jonathan Cake. He was Cole Barker on Chuck, the British super spy. And I was like, I totally understand why. I could hear his voice. I was like, he's totally Cole. I get it now. But I could not for the life of me figure out why the actor was familiar until good old IMDb.
That's awesome. I was thinking the same thing. Thanks for digging that out. Chuck reference.
Yeah, he's got a pretty decent filmography on here.
Cool.
But yeah, it's really Chuck is what I knew him from out of those things. I was watching everything else, and I'm like, well, I didn't watch Desperate Housewives. I don't watch Law and Order, but man, the guy's done a lot of work. Good for him.
Yeah. How many episodes of Desperate Housewives did he have?
He did 12 episodes.
So basically half a season.
His name was Chuck Vance in Desperate Housewives, if anyone watched that.
I watched it for the first couple of seasons, and then I was like, whoa, this is totally not my thing.
He was on that show in 2011 to 2012, according to IMDb.
Okay.
Well, I think this is just another example of legends being legends. Yes, they have the overarching story of find the, infinity, totems to beat the bad guy.
For those that didn't catch that, that was a Marvel reference to the Infinity Gauntlet.
And just using it as, okay, yeah, we'll put the Earth totem in Bahamas and we'll have Blackbeard and then we'll just do a pirate episode. It's like, we want to do a pirate episode. How can we make it happen? It's like Earth totem. Cool. Again, it's just another reason why I love the show and the guys love the show as well.
Sure do.
True that.
Well, next time we're going to talk about No Country for Old Dads. It's Legends Season 3, Episode 13. It originally aired Monday, March 5th, 2018. After being taken hostage by the Darks, Ray teams with Nora to fix the fire totem in 1960s East Germany and come face to face with a younger and deadlier version of Damien. It's directed by Viet Nguyen and written by Kido Smutsu and James Egan.
By the way, the director's name is pronounced Viet Nguyen.
Nguyen? Sorry.
Nguyen. That's all right. Just wanted to make sure that we paid homage to the director. All right. If that's it, we're going to get on into the news. Live from the Starling Tribune main news desk on floor 52 of Starling Tribune Tower, it's the weekly news roundup with award-winning chief news anchor Michelle Ely. And now, Michelle Ely.
Thanks, SP. So in Arrow News, Chris is going to start us off with, well, something about the season 7 premiere being gritty.
Right. So we were talking about, this is the season wrap, this has got to be dark. Oliver's going to prison. This has got to be something that doesn't just get wrapped up in 2 or 3 episodes. Guys, it sounds like it's going to get dark. There's a story on Newsrama where they spoke with James Bamford, one of our favorite folks on the show, who is directing the season 7 premiere. He said he's bringing in some of the classic feelings of the inaugural season, but also some new elements mixed in. According to him, quote, in the premiere, you will find some elements with the season 1 feel, but you'll also find elements that are new and uncharted territory. Bamford also mentioned that he and newly promoted showrunner Beth Schwartz have intense plans for this fall that led to them having to have a meeting with the network censors. According to him, quote, Beth and I had a phone call with BNSP, which is our censors, a very lengthy call about a particular scene that we had never had before. So we're really trying to push the limits on the show and the gritty factor. We were trying to go as far as you can go within the confines of our network and what is expected of us and what we can and can't do. We're not on Netflix, so we'll never be able to X, Y, and Z, but we are damn sure going to try. If they're going dark, they're going gritty. This feels like season 1 again. This feels like the right steps to take to bring back people who are getting tired of relationship melodrama and who doesn't like who this week. Let's go back to Oliver Queen just kicking a bunch of butt.
So do you think in this season, if they're going to talk reference Netflix and obviously like the Marvel series like Daredevil, you think we're going to get a bunch of shirtless Stephen Amell scenes, but he's always bloody?
Well, he is fighting naked in a shower, we know, so it seems likely there will be some eye candy for folks.
All right. Well, I was just trying to make a reference to Daredevil because whenever we see him shirtless, he's always bloody.
That's true. That dude's always bloody. I mean, he's blind. He runs into everything.
Charlie Cox is amazing, though.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, I have some casting news. Ruby Rose has been cast as Batwoman in the CW's Arrowverse crossover. She'll make her debut in the December crossover. She is known for her roles in Orange and the New Black, Resident Evil, The Final Chapter, Triple X, Return of Xander Cage, and John Wick Chapter 2. She's also in The Meg, which is out now. You know, again, after Batwoman is in the crossover, she will have her own television pilot. And I'm very pleased with this casting. Ruby Rose has a very unique energy to herself. She's a very out person, not just, like out with sexuality, but out as a personality. She is strong. She has done her physical stunts and everything like that. So I'm happy with the casting.
I am also happy with the casting. I'm just wondering if she's going to have to dye her hair red or not, because that's the stereotypical Batwoman. Well, is it though? I thought it was shorter, but I thought her natural hair was still red.
Yeah, it's red and it's short. When she's Batwoman, it is longer, but they can play with that. I will not be upset if Batwoman doesn't have red hair. Okay. Like, we're getting Batwoman. I'm just happy about that.
Okay. I'm looking forward to this. And although I want to spread some caution here, because we have seen pilots for superhero shows that have just been a pilot.
Wonder Woman. It was terrible.
Woman, and oddly enough, another Adrian Palicki starred film, series, which was the follow-on to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which never occurred. So there have been examples. In the CW DC universe, not so much yet, not at least that we know of. But it could happen. So I just want to spread a little caution on that.
And Chris has some more Arrowverse crossover news.
That's right. So it's not only Batwoman we're getting in this, it's also Superman and Lois Lane. Entertainment Weekly has learned that Tyler Hoechlin is set to reprise his role as the Man of Steel in this year's 3-night crossover. He will appear in all 3 episodes. The CW is also going to introduce intrepid Daily Planet reporter Lois Lane in the epic event. Casting for the role will begin soon. So, yeah, cool. Superman's coming back. I enjoyed Tyler Hoechlin's Superman. I'm curious to see who they bring in as Lois Lane. I think it should be fun. I'm still a little salty about the fact Legends isn't part of the crossover, but the Superman news eases that saltiness a little bit, maybe.
I wonder if we're going to get Lois's sister in the crossover event, too.
Yeah, also the article states that the crossover begins Sunday, December 9th with The Flash at 8 p.m., which that's usually Supergirl slot. It continues Monday, December 10th at 8 p.m. with Arrow and concludes on the following night at 8 p.m. with Supergirl. And considering we're getting Superman and Lois Lane, I'm thinking that one of the reasons why we don't have Legends is because our Flash and Arrow people are going to visit Supergirl. And I think Batwoman is going to take place in Supergirl's universe and not the Green Arrow universe.
Could be.
Okay, the great theory, but I'm agreeing with Chris in that I'm lamenting that the Legends aren't going to be there. And then you guys know that I do not like this crossover universes between the two shows, between Supergirl and the rest of the shows right now anyway. So I'm not a fan of that, but I'm just a podcaster.
I know we all want this huge Crisis on Infinite Arrowverse universes thing, but I don't think it's ever going to happen.
I don't think, because I am projecting that Arrow is not going to last another season. So this will be the last crossover to include Arrow.
Yeah, but like I said, though, my real concern with Legends not being included is it sucks that it's not there, but they don't get that 1-episode ratings boost that makes the average look better over the year. So if that becomes a convenient scapegoat to be like, oh, Legends is too expensive and ratings are down. Well, yeah, because you took the thing that bumps their ratings up to a 4.0 1 episode a year. I really hope, I just have a bad feeling about it.
Yeah. But I'm going to be optimistic. And in general DC news, Supergirl, Brett Spiner has to exit as the vice president due to scheduling conflicts, but the role has been recast with Bruce Boxleitner from Tron, Babylon 5. So, okay, here's the thing. I am a Star Trek person. I was really happy that Brent Spiner is going to be the vice president. But now, hearing that Bruce Boxleitner is going to be the vice president, I am equally as excited. I don't know, maybe even a little bit more so because it's like Tron and Babylon 5. I liked Babylon 5. I don't know if any of you gentlemen like Babylon 5, but
I saw a little bit of it. He was also in Scarecrow, Mrs. King, right?
I don't know.
That's not geeky. I can't remember.
Oh, I'm going to have to look that up now. So I think he was, and more importantly, I actually saw him on, guess what, Michelle? A Hallmark Channel movie.
Shocking.
Yes, it was on in that. It was on, yeah, go take a drink, the Gonna Geek drinking game. It was on in the background, and I was like, oh, that's Bruce Boxleitner. And then it was a movie that had tons of people in it. And I can't remember the title of the movie right now, but I'll have to look that up. And I was like, oh, Bruce, oh, I miss him so much. So it's going to be great seeing him on here. I don't think I'll be able to take it if he's evil, though. That's going to be a little stretch. But, I mean, he can be evil. He was the evil Tron.
Good old Captain/President Sheridan. I can't wait. He has one of my favorite lines in sci-fi history from anything when someone goes, "We thought you were dead." And he goes, "I was. I got better." If they can drop that in somehow, that same line, I want it. I love Babylon 5. I love Bruce Boxleitner. He's a great actor. Captain Sheridan is one of my favorite characters in sci-fi.
Hey, they ended up working up, hey, General, do you want to step outside? So maybe they can work it in.
I'm pretty sure based off of the age of most of those writers in there, there's probably a lot of them that grew up watching B5 is what I'm guessing.
And Chris, you have our final piece of news about Wally West.
Yes, we touched on a little bit at the top of the show. We do know that Wally's going to be taking a little bit of a backseat this season. Kean Lionsdale is talking about the fact that he's stepping back from acting. Well, we are going to see Wally in only 3 episodes in Season 5 of The Flash. Showrunner Todd Helbing confirmed, saying you'll see Wally in the first episode. He's in 3 episodes this season. We don't have as much time with Kid Flash as I think everyone would like to see, but the story we have for him is really cool. So I hope they find a good way to write him out.
He deserves a good story. They never wrote him really well. I was very disappointed in what they did with him.
So is this 3 and done? He's never coming back? Or I can't remember. Or is this just he's stepping back for this year and he's only going to be in 3 episodes?
This is him stepping back, and I don't think they put an actual return or anything like that on it. It was more he was just wrapping up his arc, is what I had read.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like he can come back
Okay.
if he wants to. It's, it's kind of like, like if Captain Cold, like if we get Snart back or something like that. It's like the door's open if they want to come back or something.
Well, good. So I just want to see 3 good episodes with him. And if we get more, great. If we don't, oh well. Sorry, Chris.
We'll live. We got Constantine. We're okay.
Oh, gosh, Constantine. Yes. Well, that is it for the news this week. Chris, we are part of a larger podcast network.
That's right, Michelle. We are part of the Gonna Geek Network, which you can find over at GonnaGeek.com. There's 25 plus different shows in the network that cover a variety of topics, be it tabletop gaming, RPGs, video gaming, geek culture, various television shows, various movie properties. It's insane. We've got a little bit of everything there for you. I can't very well tell you about every show on the network, but what we can do is give you a little taste of one of the shows on the network. Say, hey, you guys should check this one out. I bet you're really going to like it. And this week we're going to talk about the American edition of the Game Life Balance podcast, entitled Gen Con 2018 Board Game Review and Special. In this solo episode, Cody discusses his favorite games from Gen Con 2018 and offers some buying recommendations if you're looking for the latest and greatest in strategy board games. Plus, learn a little bit about the role-playing game worlds of Starfinder, Arcanus, the World of Shattered Empires, and Savage Worlds. So, very Gen Con heavy. If you guys are familiar, Cody and John, who host Game Life Balance US, they go to Gen Con each year and play a bunch of games. So Cody's probably got some cool suggestions to tell you about. So go check out Game Life Balance US over on the Gonna Geek Network. And if you want, also check out their sister show, Game Life Balance Australia, and all of the other great podcasts on the Gonna Geek Network.
If you're looking for more Gen Con coverage, just one more fix is in force. They covered the con in force. And my very own co-host, Michelle, your co-host too, over on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., was there as well. Lauren was there. And you actually met up with Lauren, didn't you?
Yes, it was amazing. We did a LARP. We hung out. We played Weave. It was a really fun time.
Which we will probably talk about on the next episode that we record of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. So stay tuned for that.
Well, guys, looking at the time, it is time for us to start wrapping up this live production of the Starling Tribune. So a big thank you to everyone that did join us for the live show over on Geeks.live, but also a thank you to anyone who downloads the audio podcast later from StarlingTribune.com or GonnaGeek.com. Don't forget, you can check out this live video if you did miss it over on the official Gonna Geek YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/GonnaGeek.
If you happen to have an Amazon device, you can always enable our podcast as a skill. Just say a word or whatever the activation word is, enable the Starling Tribune podcast, and we will be a skill on your device. And remember, you can always catch us live as we record at www.geeks.live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific on Thursdays, and join our live chat that's embedded on our live page.
We would love to hear from you. We're the Starling Tribune on Facebook and Instagram, at Starling Tribune on Twitter, and you can call us at 612-888-CAVE. That's 612-888-2283. Well, this brings us to the end of another great episode. Any last words before we sign off? At Stargate Pioneer.
Hashtag ARG.
At the Chris Farrell.
Hashtag Dread Pirate Rum.
And I am at Michelle Ely, signing off with hashtag Rum Float and other things. Oracle, I think we're done here.
This was the Starling Tribune. You can leave us feedback at GonnaGeek.com or check out our archive at StarlingTribune.com. Visit GonnaGeek.com for more podcasts. Music by Kevin MacLeod can be found at Incompetech.com. This podcast is not produced or maintained by the CW, Warner Brothers Television, CTV, or DC Comics. All characters, stories, and situations are the property of Time Warner. No infringement is intended. We will see you for the next episode of CW's Arrow.